You're listening to Kayak Flyer with your host, Sean. Tonight, we're brought to you by Tennessee Trailers, OutdoorAdventureTrailers.com. Simply the best way to get your kayak to and from the water. Bajuco Flats Fly Co. Simply the best custom-made fly rods on the market, always built to order just the way you want it. Find Bajuco Flats Fly Co. on Instagram and Facebook. StoneflyNets.com, made 100% in the great state of Arkansas with your choice of woods or burls. Stonefly Nets can even be customized for that favorite fisher person in your life. Check out StoneflyNets.com for details. CutthroatFurledLeaders.com, the only leaders that I fish with. Cutthroat Furled Leaders are excellent for saltwater, freshwater, trout, bass, you name it, you can catch it with a Cutthroat Furled Leader. Head to CutthroatFurledLeaders.com, promo code KAYAK to save 15%. Guys, this is Kayak Flyer, man. We are having a great time playing with all our new technology here. Got Travis from Arc Flyline. Great, only fly line I've been using for 2-3 years since I found out about you guys. And of course, Adam, as always, is here. Adam has Latrell Fly Fishing. You can find his Etsy store online. Adam, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Travis. What's up, boys?
I'm going to tell you what, I hope this is not like last week. We had a great guest last week, but he had problems getting onto the technology. And so I sat here and drank a 6-pack of beer before we went on. And by the end of that, if you're watching the video on YouTube, by the end of that, my eyes are just glassed over. It was so bad.
Hey, not a bad little Monday. Cheers, fellas. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. I tell you what, fly line is, you want to get in a fight, you start talking fly line. That's all there is to it. Everybody has, weight forward, double taper, sinking tip. I mean, and then you start talking about brands. And one thing that I've found, which is made in Missouri, which I really like about it, and of course I like Travis too, so that helps. Arc Fly Line has been absolutely great for me. And there's some things that people don't understand about it that I just want to go ahead and throw out there. One, it's not sensitive to sunscreen. That is huge. As a fisherman, that is absolutely huge. I have sunscreen on me constantly. Members of my family have had to have things taken off for skin cancer and whatnot. I am aware of this. And the older I get, the more aware I become. And having that resistance to the sunscreen. And number two, it works in a little bit different temperature climate. So it's a little bit hotter, it's better, and a little bit colder, it's better. So it's really made a little bit different. And that's why I like Arc Fly Line. That's why you should try Arc Fly Line. Travis, welcome to the show, man. We talked last year, and then we wound up, you got sold out of some stuff, which is always a good problem to have. And then trying to get you back on. And right now is when people should be re-rigging their lines. I went out Sunday fishing, just did some spin fishing, see if the crappie bite was on yet. And it's close, man. It is really close.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for having me. And, again, good to see you guys. And yeah, I mean, we can talk, all day and all night about fly lines, but you're right. I mean, if you want to pick a fight with somebody in the industry or not in the industry, fly lines is definitely a hot and heavy topic for sure. So, I can definitely help clear some of the confusion out there, if you will. So happy to do that. I mean, our approach anyway. I mean, speaking, fly lines, simply, that's more or less, our approach to, kind of a lot of the confusion that's out there with fly lines. There's endless, tapers and, technologies and, colors and, a welded loop or not a welded loop or cores, mono, braided monofilament, multi-filaments, all sorts of stuff. So we really try to, kind of compact everything down into, a single line, give the, the consumer the biggest bang for the buck, if you will. With us, at Arc Fishing, you don't have to go, searching for, a certain taper or a certain technology or, a certain colorway. We just offer it to you and give you, the biggest, again, the biggest, bang for your buck. So that's kind of our theory is the less is more, the more simplified kind of pseudo, popular Tenkara approach. Just try to make it as easy as we can. We'll never have, a million different fly line tapers. It's just completely unnecessary, to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I'll be the
that's,
first to admit that. I mean, fly line is something I'm not well versed in at all. I mean, the waters that I fish are not all that different throughout the course of the year. So in terms of different fly lines that I might need from one day to the next, I just don't have that. Now there's plenty of people
Sure.
out there that have a certain type of fly line rigged up on a certain reel combination that they want, and I'm just not at that level for the type of fishing that I do. So I love the fact that to your point, that it's something that I can play in this space, right? Like this speaks to me. You're saying, hey Adam, it's not hard, man. Don't make it hard. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, it's fishing. I mean, sure, there's going to be some instances where, you know, you want a, a nice, delicate dry fly taper if you're into, throwing dry flies, or if you want to throw a sink tip for, you know, you know, uh, you know, streamer fishing, that sort of thing. Like, yeah, there's always going to be the specialized, line thing, but, honestly, for the 99% of people, and that's part of our branding, that's what it is. That's why, we have that 99, insignia on our packaging, and that
mhm.
just simply means, for 99% of the people and 99% of the fishing situations you could possibly encounter. The rest is the 1% that, you don't, we're not in that market of building, a billion different, lines for people. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I know I've recently had a couple of former students that are out of college or either out of the military and going to college now, or are out and have kids, and they're like, "Hey, we're listening to the podcast. We want to get into fishing. It sounds like a lot of fun to fly
Right.
fish." And I give them my thoughts on rod and reel combos, and then I send them over to you. I'm like, "Get the line
Yeah.
and tip it. You know what I mean? Grab it." You're not going to be in a specialized location where you're looking for some exact thing. Get it, it'll work 99% of the time. It's everything you need. And
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, I know there are a lot of purists out there, and I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they were talking about dry flying and how you just wanted to get that dry within like 2 foot of that trout. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you know, I'll throw a nymph. I'm not proud, you know.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
At the
whatever.
end of the yeah, at the end of the day, it's catching fish, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. It's it's just being out there. It's being with it's being with your friends, your buddies, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever it. Having a good time fishing. Drinking some beer, having some laughs. It's not. Let's not take it too seriously. It's supposed to be fun. It's a sport. It's just fishing. It's not. No no need to overcomplicate or overanalyze. You know fly fishing. It's getting out of control, man. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's my opinion anyway. So, for what
Yeah.
it's worth.
And with your 6 weight, I've dead drifted nymphs and I've thrown big meaty streamers. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just worked for me whenever I've gone anywhere. I've never said, "Oh, I wish I had something different." And I've got the welded loops. Everything fits together right. I'm not tying knots alongside the stream. Everything's great.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, we
And that,
appreciate the
yeah,
support for sure.
yeah, yeah. And of course, all that translates into time on the water. And that's one of the things that a lot of us can't get enough of. I mean, we're not shut down anymore. I mean, Adam's working from home, so he just takes the cardboard cutout I mailed him and he sits it in front of his computer and acts like he's in a Zoom meeting when he's out on the water. But the rest
You,
of us are still
you've
working
wrecked it
every
for
day.
me now, man.
Yeah,
Now you've
man.
blown my cover. Like, oh, I just thought he never talked. Got it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're like the guy driving in the HOV lane with the cardboard cutout of the Dos Equis guy.
Yes, exactly.
right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh
That's
man.
good.
Oh. So I have had the pleasure of using your tippet as well.
Yes.
That is good stuff, man. I
Yeah. Thanks.
really I can really see a difference in that when I'm throwing it.
Yeah.
Just the camo especially. For anybody, if you haven't gone to Arc, it's arcfishing.com is what it is. You can just type in Arc Fly Line, Arc Fishing, it'll take you to the website. But tell us a little bit about some of that tippet, and you've had some interesting stuff in the
Yeah.
development of that.
So I have some here. Obviously, I brought some, some samples. Just, I mean, I'm at home, but I have some spools in my hand. The biggest thing with our tippet is, again, we really saw, this stuff right here, the Arc Double Agent. This stuff, it used to be called just Fluorocoat. We actually kind of went back to the drawing board uh, for last year into this year and kind of, redid everything. But basically, this is like the go-to stuff. You kind of get the best of both worlds, if you will, with a nylon and a fluorocarbon combined into one. So this is a fluorocarbon coated nylon. So what that means for you guys or anybody is as a fly fisherman is you really get the benefits of both materials. You get the strength of a nylon. um, you get the decreased visibility with the fluorocarbon coating. Just really some cool, innovative stuff. And this is literally what started the company. Is we just saw a niche there in the marketplace that we thought that we could fulfill. And so we did. This material right here, it doesn't wick in moisture like traditional nylon. So it stays the same strength whether it's wet or dry throughout the day. So let's say you're fishing, like whatever, like a 4X here, right? So traditional nylon soaks in water, and so you will lose break strength throughout the day. So with our product and our process, that doesn't happen. So you can lose about 10 to 15, maybe a little bit more percent throughout the day. So that's just something that we recognized and we, fixed with our material, so to speak. So really cool stuff. Super strong, super tough, super stealthy, really just some cool, um, innovative, materials. So color coded bands for all the different sizes of the spools, waterproof labels. Just we kind of thought of it all, but yeah, check it out. It's really good stuff. We kind of went back to the drawing board with it, and we just use really really quality ingredients. Kind of consider us a pseudo cottage brand for kind of the tippet and leader stuff. So kind of the craft beer approach. Super quality ingredients.
Well, that's speaking my language. I can understand good ingredients, and that works out really
Yeah,
well. And you've been fishing for quite a while too. It's not like you just jumped into this because you saw an opening in a market that had an opening. You jumped
yes.
into this because of love.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So, originally, I've been in the industry for a long, long time, well over 15 years now. So I actually came from my background. I came from Fish Pond back in the day. So my father, Dave Thompson, actually co-founded Fish Pond back in the day. When I was younger, with John LeCoq, and so he owned the company for, geez, I don't know. They started it. Basically they started like in 98, 99 when I was like I was just graduating high school back in the day when they kind of first started going. But yeah, it's kind of um, fun to kind of have that background and get both the soft goods and kind of more the hard good type of stuff going. But yeah, so he retired after a while. He owned the company for, I don't know, 13, 14 years, whatever it was. I don't really know. And then we spent a couple years on the sidelines. I didn't really feel comfortable moving on with the new company because it's not wasn't a pseudo family business anymore, so to speak. And so I left the company and wish those guys well. Still great friends with John. He's like a second dad to me. And Ben and Will uh, own the company along with John now. And yeah, so spent a couple years on the sidelines. I have a business partner, one of my best friends, and we just saw an opportunity to do things different and jumped on it. So super happy that we did.
Yeah, and that's really exciting, having somebody who's been around that for their entire life and, or at least 15, 20 years,
Yeah,
understanding how to do how the market works, how things, pan out. A lot of people, have these great ideas that they're going to do something and it just never gets off the ground because you don't know the right people
Yeah.
or you're not in the right location or you don't have all the places to source things out. Kayak Flyer's got a product we're hoping to bring to market soon to help with fly management, basically. Something that I've talked to several different guys. They like the idea. The prototype is just not where we want it yet for me to bring it out. But having the podcast, I know the guys now to get this out. Whereas
Right.
before, I would have just been cold calling places, and now it's all set up. I can send prototypes to, you know, big names and they will give me their honest feedback. And I think that's something the fly fishing community is great for, but it is hard to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with anything, with any, small business startup, and I mean, we're still in those growing pain phases, man. I mean, we're still, the small guys on the block. I mean, we're not the Rio and the SA and the other big guys that are in the Orvises, things like that. But yeah, we're making a dent. We're kind of slow and steady wins the race. But yeah, we love what we do, so it's a lot of fun. We're pretty nimble.
Yeah.
We can move a lot faster than some of those bigger companies, and I think that's kind of I think that's kind of what puts us at like the advantage is hey, we like we work hard, we fish, we use the stuff, we bootstrap everything, like we're thrifty, and I think that type of thinking kind of speaks volumes, for us anyway. We can move pretty quick, but yeah, we have a we have a hell of a time doing it. We love it.
Yeah, well, I love that, and to that point you just made, I think having a specialized, to your point, a niche in the market with obviously the tippet, and then of course the finding the way that you're doing with the fly line. A lot of companies tend to grow or want to grow too quick, get too big too fast, and all of a sudden they're expanding in
Right.
like crazy merchandise, and they're taking on all these other. You got wholesalers, and just you want to retail, you want brick and mortar, and you can get in over your head very quickly. So I think having such a specialized, to your point again, a niche in the market is pretty unique and pretty cool too, because that makes you able to really fine tune and really master exactly what it is that y'all are working on, and what of course Sean speaks so highly of. So I think I love that. In fact, I think that's great. You've got the background clearly with the family business that's in the industry, if you will, but you're doing your own thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're in Kansas City.
We are, yeah, yeah. We're in Kansas City. I mean, that's where home base is. I was living, before, you know, before I even worked at, Fish Pond back in the day. I mean, I'm actually a classically trained chef by trade. So I was out in Jackson, Wyoming, cooking. I was the, sous chef at this place, and the operation that I was working at ended up going bankrupt at the time, and so I was kind of mid season shifting gears, and that's a whole other story. But yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity to kind of jump back into the the family business back in the day when we still when my folks still owned Fish Pond, and kind of the rest is history. But yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure, but it's been a lot of fun.
Adam, are you hearing what I'm hearing? He
What's
knows
that?
about fishing. He knows about fishing. He likes fishing. He
I
likes
know.
craft beer and he can cook.
Yeah.
I think we got our next fishing buddy right here.
Yeah, let's go, man. I
Uh,
mean, yeah, um, would love to
Yeah, we're
out
gonna
there.
have to have a get together because
yeah,
we've
no doubt.
got several people that are wanting to
Yeah,
be on the river with us. So
yeah.
we're gonna have a
That's
big
one of the
party this
fallacies.
summer, I think.
That's actually one of the fallacies of actually, co-owning a fishing company is, everybody thinks you fish for a living all the time. That's not true at all, man. I actually fish less now than I did before. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Where is
whatever. It
it?
is what it
When you do have a chance to get out on the water, where are you? Where are you wanting
is.
to go? Like, where's your
Yeah,
go-to spot?
I mean, I come from a, super strict, kind of trout background, if you will. But so, whatever. I'm a trout guy at heart. I love warm water. I'm really into, throwing, streamers and sink tips and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, as far as like where do I go, where do I go? I mean, we can be on some local water down in Missouri and Arkansas in a few hours. We're not too far away from some fairly decent water. Like if you want to. I mean, we can be on the Niangua down in Missouri in no time. It's really not that far. But yeah,
Yeah.
for go-to
Yeah,
trips,
yeah, you
like
bet.
I mean, there or like we'll scoot up to like Wisconsin, fish the driftless, wherever, man, Colorado. I mean, I travel a lot throughout the season, so that's one of my biggest things is like trying to go see as many dealers as we possibly can to kind of the meet and greet, knock on some doors, shake some hands, meet some people, try to sell some product, that sort of deal. So I'm in a lot of fishing towns, but I don't always have time to fish if I'm in Montana or Utah or because again, I mean business for us has to come first, but yeah, locally, yeah, it's Missouri, Arkansas, that sort of thing. So I mean, same for you guys. I'm sure, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, where do I want to go?
Lo-
Anywhere I can get on the water, dude. Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing, and I talk about it all the time, and I know the listeners get tired of it, but one of the guests we had on as a guide in Alaska, and he guides in the summer and into October. And he's sitting here going, man, he goes, with Cotter the way it is and the lack of guides down there, he's thinking about getting rigged up and doing that just in the wintertime, you
Right.
know. And there is world-class trout water in the Midwest that, you don't have to go to Colorado. If you're in Kentucky or Tennessee, there's some good places too, but you can just jump across and come over here.
Yeah.
If you're in Louisiana, you can run up to Arkansas. And, a lot of those guys, we all say we want to go fish salt. Well, a lot of those guys will come up here and fish for trout.
Yeah. Right. You know. Yeah,
You know
for
what I want
sure.
to?
So
I got a bucket list place. I want to go do some lake trout fishing at Pyramid Lake. You've seen some of the
uh,
things they pull out of there. Those are monsters,
yeah,
monsters.
yeah. There's some tanks in there for sure. That's like the massive old folks home over there. It's great.
Yeah, they put you on ladders out there so that you
Yeah,
can still
Yeah.
cast in the deeper water, get the bigger fish. It's
Yeah.
wild.
it's
Yeah.
I've
It's,
crazy.
heard
it,
great things.
yeah. I haven't been, but I hear it's pretty cool. I mean, I know some. I obviously know some guys that have, and they of course I mean it's super fun. How can it not be? But yeah, that's definitely on the list for me as well, for sure.
I was cruising Facebook today, and there was, I forget which state it was, but there was a world record brown that was caught. And that thing, it looked like a catfish out of the Missouri River. It was so big. I mean, it was absolutely huge. And I'm
Gee.
sitting here going, yeah, my little 6 weight, fishing for regular brown trout, I hook into that. That's a bad day.
Right.
I mean, and having the right gear and the right size stuff is important. And you guys have a wide variety of lines to fit most every fisherman.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We got it all. So we're kind of the the one stop shop, if you will. But we'll never
Yeah.
let it get too out of hand. That the industry definitely thrives on new products everywhere. I mean, I don't know how many super new lines you can have every single year for some of these guys, but they they definitely find a way. So
Yeah, and a lot of times you wonder if it's just repackaged the same thing, just
yeah,
to get it out there again.
no,
I'm
they
not
absolutely
not
are.
accusing anybody of that, but
Yeah, no, I mean, let's not, sugarcoat it. I mean, there's a lot of voodoo, in the, in the fly line, segment. I mean, you change the taper by, you know, 3, 4 inches, maybe, maybe it's just a new color. There's a lot of that goes on. I've cut and spliced and weighed and, reweighed. And I mean, I know, what they're doing. I'm pretty heavily involved in this stuff. So, I got a lot of stock into this game, but, yeah, there's a lot of that going on, I think, for sure. You know, I mean, I don't know how many trout. I mean,
what talk about color.
exactly how many trout there are, but there's not there's not a whole lot. I don't, I don't think you need 47 different lines like what like one of our competitors has. I think it's a little ridiculous, but you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
And you're talking about color. I'm gonna let Adam have the next question after this, but this
Yeah.
is one that bothers me. I had some green line, loved it, absolutely loved it. Wound up with some orange line, and I blame that orange line for not getting a fish. And arc line, I've got that's the lightest yellow color, I believe. Um, that's what yours is? It's sort of a greeny light yellow kind of
Yeah,
color.
it's like
Nice color.
green and tan. It's like a greenish tan.
Yeah,
It's pretty kind of like
yeah,
an olive drab and kind of tannish color.
yeah, yeah. It's not bright yellow. It's just sort of for me. Um, but how much does color go into? I mean, does it really make a difference? Is it just me that I had a bad season and I'm blaming it on orange?
I think he's had a bad season, dude. Oh, he's had a bad season, bro. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, it's honestly like, I mean, it's all personal preference. I mean, like the bright lines will probably come back at some point. They've been super, they've been really toned down the last, I mean, I'd say good, like, 5 years, if not a little bit longer. But, I mean, listen, like, I mean, it's what you're comfortable with, man. I mean, again, it's kind of just to bring it back full circle. I mean, it's just fishing. I mean, this is not like we're not sending, rockets into into space here. But no, no, honestly, it's personal preference. I mean, does color make yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how much empirical evidence there is out there, but yeah, I mean, if you can't see you know uh, kind of more softer colors, yeah, you're gonna need a brighter line. I mean that just may be something that you want to deal with,
yeah,
but me personally, I like super stealthy everything, so um, you know that's just me. But I mean, everybody will have an opinion in the fly fishing. If you're a fly fisherman, you probably have a slight opinion about about almost everything.
well, I'm not accepting I was a bad fisherman. I'm saying it was the color. So you just got to go with me on that one.
Right? No, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I'm just teasing you.
I
That's
know.
good.
Hey, I wanna go
Yeah,
back, Travis, to the tip that you on the video you held up the different spools that you have. So clearly a
yeah,
large variety just sitting right there in the palm of your hand. But is there a best seller in terms of size of tippet that you all see that maybe you're producing more or it tends to be fly fishermen are attracted to more than any other kind?
yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. So basically, your bread and butter is going to be a 4, 5, 6, not only in a line, but also in a leader, also in tippet. That's kind of, I mean, that is your, when people think fly fishing, they think a river runs through it. I mean, it's like trout, 5 weight,
Yeah,
all purpose,
it's your middle of the road,
that
right?
sort
Like
of
you
thing.
can't go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, you can't go wrong with like the 5 weight is like where like I would say the majority of everybody I mean starts. I mean, what size? I mean, what size rod do you use? Probably a 5 or a 6, maybe.
It's five
I
weight.
mean,
Yeah,
maybe a
that's
4.
yeah.
That's kind of the industry standard is the 5 weight all around. What's so funny, Sean?
He, he's just itching to
I
talk to
just
you about his one weight. I guarantee it.
I just got a new one weight.
I got this like
I love it.
I got this double O.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Nope.
mean,
Pablo down at Bajuco Flats put me together a beautiful one weight. I love it. I love it. I love it.
yeah, for sure, man. Let it rip, dude. Get out there and fish some
Yeah.
spring creeks and throw some 7X and just get weird.
Yeah. I've got a 1, a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, a 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Now
see
I
that.
need to start filling in those gaps.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. Is like you get a 5 weight, then you get a 6 weight, then you're like, well, wait a minute, I want to throw a little bit heavier lens. I'm gonna get a 7 weight for a streamer stick now. Then you're like, well, now I need like a 9 weight for like bass bugs and like hammering small jaws. Like what? I mean, it's like it's never ends, dude. Like I mean, you just shell it out because you have to, dude. Like it's like it becomes a
Yeah.
real it becomes a real problem. I mean, But
Yeah, it's like if I'm going to spend this money on a trip to Louisiana and Florida and here and there, I might as well get a 10 weight, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna do
No,
it
fly fishing's
anyways.
the ultimate. You become a gearhead real quick, just in all capacity. Even for me,
Yeah,
I just got my first kayak, and Sean, we've talked about this, but I had to go get a different roof rack to put on the SUV because what I had get to put the kayak on didn't work, so I had to go upgrade on that. And I was like, well, I can't carry this thing by myself, and now I got to go get a kayak cart. And then you talk about, okay, I've got my 5 weight, I've got a 6 weight. Well, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get to a 7 weight here real quick, depending upon what water I'm fishing. I mean, all of a sudden, you think you're spending just a
yeah,
couple
for
hundred
sure.
bucks, and you're in easily for a couple grand in a hurry.
Yeah, it's this is not the hobby to be cheap in, you know.
There's
But
no
then again,
point.
you can get by with a relatively inexpensive rod and reel. You know, Jeff Tatum was telling me down at Mammoth Springs, Arkansas, or I guess it'd be the Thayer, Missouri, Arkansas, or Thayer, Missouri. Sorry, not Thayer, Missouri Walmart. They now have $40 fly rod and reel setups with your line, your leader, your tippet, and your flies right there. And when you walk in the store,
Oh
so
wow.
you
Yeah,
know,
grab those dudes and just go, man. I mean,
yeah,
that's the deal. Like again, make it happen. You know, we need more people in the sport. That's the only way that we're gonna grow the industry and cater to the new people. I think that's important. Not only for a for protect you know the industry and the public lands and the water and that and conservation. I mean, the more people, the better. Really, it's I think it's something that we need more of. We need more of a community and stuff like that. So love getting
Yeah.
new
yeah,
people in the sport for sure. You know, I mean
definitely.
that's
And
honestly
getting people out on the water.
what's that?
I said getting more people like maybe outside of like some of the parks and out into the water, you know,
Yeah,
so they can see some of the difference, you know, just because there's a huge difference in combat fishing at a state park versus going out and fly
yeah,
fishing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, again, it's like you know, just get out there and do it. Just make it happen. Who cares if you don't
Yeah.
have the fanciest gear and the new whatever. I mean, just get out there and fish, man. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, for me at least. And I'm sure most people would. I'm sure most people would agree with that.
Yeah. I was looking at a Facebook group and one of the rules, had to ask was how many Patagonia brand clothing do you own? And if you put down any, they would deny you joining the group.
The correct answer is, what is Patagonia?
Exactly. I see, and and it's funny. I see people all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, do you fly fish?" And they're like, "No." I'm like,
Right.
"Oh,
Why do you
okay."
ask? Yeah,
No,
I don't
thought
understand.
maybe you did.
Right.
It's like guys wearing Harley Davidson stuff. What do you ride? I don't ride. I'm like, oh, okay. When I got rid of my bike, I got rid of all my Harley Davidson stuff. I don't want to be that guy.
Right. Yeah.
As we lose listeners by the minute.
Right. They're like,
Oh.
this is where I just shut it down.
And John's gone. We're going to edit that part out. We're just going to take it right out. Just
Or we'll just
magic.
re-record and just do it again.
Yeah. By not streaming live, we have the ability to take things out, and that has
Yeah.
come in very handy.
Magic
Yeah,
of
oh, I
post.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did. Oh, I was on another podcast and we got way off in the weeds, and it's like, nope, we're cutting that out.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
too good.
Yeah. So you were working up in Jackson, you said. What was it like to work in a town that's, I mean, because there's a lot of great fisheries in that area. What was it like
Yeah.
being in that environment?
Oh man, I loved it. I mean, I was out there, kind of, working for me, kind of, back in the day, kind of had the dream job, was able to, you know, you know, earn a decent living and, fish and ski and, hike and camp and all that stuff. So, I mean, for me, it was like perfect. I mean, it's gorgeous up there. It's a great spot. It just wasn't meant to be. So, But yeah, man, it's a cool area. I mean, if you haven't been, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable up there. You know, great people, great fishing, great town, lots to do. I mean, if you're like an outdoor guy, I mean, you know, or gal, I mean, you want to, you know, you want to be out, you want to be in, you know, I mean, you know, you want to be in, you know, out there, or you know, Utah or Montana. I mean, if you're like the hardcore, you know, for the most part. But yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
I loved my
Yeah.
time up there. I have no complaints whatsoever. Made some, you know, met some great people. Still really, you know, great friends with a lot of people up there. I try to make it back as, you know, as much as I can. I mean, it's been, as you know, it's been pretty difficult to travel the last, you know, year, you know, with the, you know, with the, you know, the pandemic going on. But yeah, you know,
How
we'll, we'll still
urbanized
be there.
how urbanized has it gotten versus that you know, I always think of that as sort of still being cowboy country in a certain way, that you still have that really nice vibe, but then I know you get a lot of artists and other people in there. How's that changed some of the dynamic of it for
Yeah,
you?
you know, you know, I haven't been out there in a couple years now. You know, but you know, it's just a really, you know, neat area. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, I think Jackson, you know, um, will probably always kind of have that, like, you know, kind of mystique about it. Like it's a, you know, it's kind of one of the last of like one of the wild west types of places, you know, and it's still, and I think it will, you know, still live up to that name. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's growing. Things are changing. I mean, there, you know, you got to kind of, you know, keep up with the Joneses and stuff, and change. And you know, I think that's, you know, I think that's also cool to see, you know, because you know, you do need some, you know, some resources up there and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's changed. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's changed a lot since I was up there. I mean, I know it has. But yeah, it's such a cool
Yeah.
spot. It's such a cool place, though. Have you ever been?
I haven't, but the place that I've been that I see that kind of change is Austin. You know, the whole Keep Austin Weird thing used to be really cool, and
Yeah,
then people moved in because they wanted to be weird, and it sort of lost the charm of what Austin was being surrounded by Texas, and it just became, you know, it just became something that it's not.
right.
Um, so there's a lot of these places that, you know, 10 years ago they were magnificent, and then you get people that hear it's sort of like great fishing rivers. You have a great river, and then people hear about it, and you get just massive 2 week runs of people like Mark Usick won't fish steelhead because just the people that come in from out of town, it looks like a fairground, you
Yeah.
know. So sometimes there is that overpopulation with the river, but some of these cities, I think we're really going to lose some of the awesomeness by advertising some of them a little too much, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll kind of. I mean, I think that, you know, that type of stuff. I mean, it's going to happen with anything, and it happens in, you know, whether it's towns or businesses or certain industries. I mean, I think you'll always have that, especially as, you know, as you know, more and more people, you know, enter those types of things. I think that happens. It's kind of the, you know, natural progression, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just hoping it doesn't ever happen to Grand Isle
Is
because
that your
man,
spot?
that place is funky. Let me tell you. That is a wild, wild place. But look it up on a map sometime. That is the end of the road. Literally, the road stops there.
Yeah, you guys
It
went.
is.
You went, Redfish, right?
Yeah, we've been down there 2 or 3 times, and
Yeah, I
God,
think
is it great.
you tried to get me to go. I think it was like, was it last year, or like,
Yeah,
when was? I mean, I'm trying to think of like when I saw you. I guess, you know, I
it would
guess
have
I
been the
saw.
year before last because last year I didn't go
Yeah,
because
well,
the hurricane was coming in, and my buddies went and they got booted out, and they wound up going to Florida, and the hurricane still messed up their fishing.
right.
So,
Yeah, I was trying to think
but
when the
yeah,
last movie was. I think it was. I think we. I was down in. I was down past Springfield. I was down in Missouri for
that's
Bronze
been a
Festival. It
long
was like
time. That's been like 3 or 4 years because I had just flown in from Tampa and then turned around and drove out there that day, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. That was the
Yeah,
first time
that
I was at that.
that was the first time we met in person. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, for
that
sure.
that
It
yeah,
just rained. It just rained the whole time.
yeah. Yeah,
I
there
came
was
down there
nothing.
with Luke. I came down there with Luke, my buddy Luke from Smithville, who I think you had him on the show last year or the year or whenever it was. I think
I
you talked to
think,
him,
yeah,
but
I think
yeah,
so.
it rained like you know the 30 inches of rain. Like
Yeah,
that hurricane
yeah.
just sat on top of us down there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, that was miserable. That was
Yeah,
absolutely
was
miserable.
it was miserable. Yeah, it should have just been canceled.
Yeah.
But whatever. I
Well, it
mean,
had been canceled and rescheduled, because
yeah,
it would have flooded the year before. Because I was in
yeah,
Tampa
that's
and
right.
came back and it got canceled, and then I went somewhere. I was in Sedalia and drove straight down there, I think from Sedalia. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was wild. I mean, but there's a lot of great fishing out there and a lot of great fly fishermen out there that you'll never know that they fly fish, and that's one of the things is a lot of guys, it's not really advertised. It's if somebody finds out about it and they want to talk to you about it, it's great. Or if you find out that somebody is, you'll ask them about it. But I know there are people that I've known for years that just we've kept it to ourselves because we didn't want to be stereotyped as that river runs through it kind of guy.
right. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Which, Adam's the same way.
Yeah, I've got a couple buddies. They'll ask about the fly fishing and tying flies and whatnot. They're always interested about it, but nobody says like, "Oh, I'd like to give that a try," or I think they're a little intimidated by it. But because I've got a couple of buddies that we've done a few trips where I said, look, if you want to come and just hang out, like if you don't want to fish, let's just hang out, drink some beer, and get away for the weekend. They're like, yeah, okay, like if you got an extra rod, I'll give it a try. But like they're never. I think there's a little bit of a hesitation to it a lot, unless you're just gung ho, ready to jump in, or you've got family that does it or
Yeah,
whatnot. I think there's an
yeah,
intrigue to it, but there's also a lot of hesitation. That's what I've seen.
yeah. I would agree with that. I've seen it time and time again, and it's unfortunate. But I've been in some places, because if you don't know anything about the sport and you're new, it can be a real challenge. I mean, it can, and there's a ton of information to soak in. Um, you know, but I think a lot of the things like if you can't cast 60 feet right out of the gates, and these guys are showing you how to do these casts. So I think it's like whoa, like what? I don't know how to do this, and so they kind of get overwhelmed really quickly and bail on the sport. It's kind of like what happened with golf back in the day is golf got
Yep.
so confusing and all these clubs and balls and everything's so expensive and people are like, dude, forget it, like I don't have 4 hours and like $100 to play golf on like a
Right.
Saturday. So they
Yeah.
just they
Yeah,
bail
they say,
out.
give me a
It's,
soccer
it's
ball and I'm good to
overly
go. I don't
complicated.
need anything else. You talk about fishing,
Yeah,
you can overwhelm it with equipment real quick.
right, right.
Yeah, I had
But
a friend.
there is a lot of information to soak in, But my piece of advice for people starting out would be, uh, figure out what you want to target. If you're into, bass or carp or trout or steelhead or tarpon or permit or whatever, kind of start local and get to know the equipment associated with that species and then kind of work backwards into okay, what size rod do I need, what size leaders do I need, what size tip do I need, and I say this kind of tongue in cheek, like well, don't be afraid to ask questions, but listen, like I mean, as you guys know, I mean, like I don't know anything, not everybody, like like you gotta ask, man. But there's resources out there. There's, social media is huge now. You can get on YouTube and you can figure some of this stuff out. I mean, just try to make it as easy as you can for yourself and not make it like overly complicated because it's really not. It's really pretty easy. Like once you kind of get the basics of fly fishing and start with the species. That's kind of where I would say to start. Figure out like what you really think you want to fish for, like in your area. Like if you're in an area where you can only fish for bass or warm water species, well then don't buy trout setup. You know,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It's just kind of the, it's
That's
super
solid.
common
Yeah.
sense there, but that's what I would say to start, and that's what I always used to, when I when I worked for Kevin at K&K, at the local shop here, growing, I was like, I was at, hey, I want to get into the sport. Okay, what do you want to fish for? Well, I got this farm pup. You're a bass guy. Let's start there because that's what you're going to have the most success with. Like I'm not going to try to sell this dude a 10 weight permit stick. It's not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
you know,
One of the funny things, I have a friend that I met him after he moved up here. He was living in Texas and he learned to fly fish in Texas. And we got to talking, he fly fished, so we decided to go. And he's like, "How do you cast with all these trees?" And I'm like, "Well, you do a roll cast." And he's looking at me like I'm on crack. Now he can double haul down to backing, but he'd never been taught how to roll cast because he didn't need it,
right,
you know? And
right.
so I'm just sitting here roll casting and he's looking at me like, "How are you doing this?" Or instead of being in the proper technique, you've got your arm down to the side to stay underneath the overhanging trees, with a little short back cast and really throwing it out there in the front.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you've got to know your area. If you watch the YouTube videos, make sure if you're watching how to double haul and you're on a Ozark stream with rocks and cliffs and trees everywhere you go, that isn't going to work.
Yeah,
You've got to,
you got to
yeah,
move. You got to get to know the lay of the land. You got to cover water. You got to, there is a lot involved. I mean, it is a complicated sport. It can be,
yeah.
but if you can kind of think logically and break it down into a few key pieces,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to have a hell of a lot more success doing that. That's for sure.
The most important thing I learned to do was to look around and see how many trees had flies hanging out of them.
Yeah, stay away from those ones.
Yeah.
Don't cast there.
Yeah, don't go there. Yeah, you know what? That tree, not for you.
Yeah. You can think, "I'm not going to lose it, but I'll guarantee you will." And that's just one of those things. It's a month away until the bobber trees are in full bloom around here.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
we'll get
right.
going here pretty quick. I mean, it's go time. I mean, for us, it's I mean, it's March 1 to October 1, man. I mean, it's pre-seasons from the 1st and the 15th of every month, and it's go time. So we're in the thick of it right now for sure. Feels good to be back packing stuff up for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And, one of the things,
yeah, we'll be fishing around here pretty quick, man. I mean, Luke and I start, looking for some of the warm water stuff when the trees kind of start to, bud. I mean, we'll definitely. We know where to go. I mean, chasing these fish forever, but yeah, we're knocking on the door, man. It won't be long. More. I mean, it was like 70 today. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, it was like negative
yeah.
20. We were in like the the deep freeze from whatever was going on, what did they call it, the Arctic, what the Arctic swoop from Canada or whatever the Arctic blast.
Yeah.
It was awful. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, it was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cold, man. That was
Yeah.
like
And now,
cold since I was out in Wyoming. I mean, that was cold. That was serious business. Yeah.
and now the water temperature is between 45 and 52 as of Sunday on the water.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be getting
So,
up pretty quick for warm water anyway. Can't wait.
yeah, crappie
Yeah.
are going to be turning on probably about the time this episode drops a week from now. Bass are going to be moving up, hitting the beds. Trout season is in full effect here. It's going to be nice enough that you can get out there and wade with your waders on and not freeze to death and not sweat to death.
Right. Yeah.
And we're going to be rocking and rolling here before too long. Before we get done real quick, speaking of, not having a lot of stuff last year indoors to do, there was a lot of growth in the outdoor industry. Did you see much of that translate over to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did. We saw some decent growth, all things considered. But I mean, honestly, I mean, a lot of the shops were closed down, as in a lot of places, and so I think I think, everybody in every, industry was, hit fairly hard or affected some way. But yeah, we saw, an uptick of, I think new people, getting into the sport a little bit. I know that like a lot of the guides that I've talked to, some good friends of mine in Montana and stuff, they were busy. A lot of people were, traveling to those areas. And so that was promising. I mean, whether shops were open or not for a while, because, a lot of them weren't, but, yeah, we just keep pushing through. Like I said before, we're kind of we're the small guys, and so we're kind of the slow and steady wins the race. We do what we can when we can, and we hope to cover all the bases, and we're not we'll get there at some point, but we're comfortable where we are right now in our business life cycle. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I know my friend Nick Dooley was going to reach out to you. I don't know if he has or not. Dooley Fly Fishing. He's
Um,
hoping to open a brick and mortar store, say 15% promo code kayak.
I like that.
Yep. I worked that in.
Dude,
I've been
I like
practicing that one.
you just slid that right in there.
He
I am a
practices in
trained
the mirror every
professional.
night before bed. He just gets ready. He's like, okay, podcast coming
I
on
thought,
Monday.
dude, Adam, I thought he'd have more. We
Dooley?
you're just
Oh yeah. I know I've got the intro now that runs all the sponsors.
yeah, you were just jamming me up left and right with these codes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got promo codes all over the place, man. We've got promo codes all over the place. If you want to really talk about it, Sunday was really a neat day for me to get out on the water. I stopped at the gas station, went in, and before I could even get out of my truck, there was a gal that come over and was talking to me about my Tennessee trailer, TennesseeTrailers.com, OutdoorAdventureTrailers.com. She said she was looking for a trailer for kayaks, and she hadn't seen one made specifically designed. Head over to TNT Trailers on Instagram and check out all the neat photos that they have. Tennessee Trailers, OutdoorAdventureTrailers.com. Tell them Sean sent you.
I love it.
Professional.
Unbelievable, bro.
Tell you, you got to get good at these plugs.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
that's good.
when are we going fishing, man?
Whenever you guys want. I mean,
you two live next door to one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I mean,
rock and roll.
We can hit the Niangua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hit the Niangua. Any.
How long would it take you to get over there? We could just, we could all just meet down there. I mean, obviously, Adam and I can just, ride down together.
Yeah, about the same amount of time as you. Honestly, about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh no, we can be down there like 2 hours, dude.
Okay, well, yeah, it's not that big a deal though.
It's super close.
I'll make Grant drive and I'll drink beer.
Yeah, there you go. You guys have vessels. I have the I got the raft with the fishing frame in it, but I mean it's two, one in the two dudes and then the rower is three people. That's a max capacity deal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll just leave Grant on the bank.
So yeah,
that's all we got to do.
Run the shuttles for us just to figure it out. That's fine with me.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I need you here at this time.
Transport.
We'll try to make it work.
Transport.
Let's just not pick a.
Honestly, he'll take his kayak. He just put a Bixby motor on his kayak. He'll take that.
Yeah, let's just pick a.
I mean, I'm not even joking. That's
mega hot out. Because I have a feeling.
Let's.
July and August, it'll just be sweltering back here. We'll be wanting to sit inside, with the AC, cranked.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we'll grab a weekend in June. Let's look at that. You guys look at your calendars and text me, and we'll get that together.
Cool. That'd be a blast.
Sure, man. Yeah, I'd love to meet you guys down
there. Man, this has been great. You want to plug everything real quick? Let folks know where to find you. Any kind of socials to follow you?
Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty basic. I mean, they can head to the website, arcfishing.com, and find everything there. And then obviously, if anybody, we got, Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. The Facebook stuff. It's all under Arc Fishing. I mean, they'll be able to find it, or they can click some of the the links on the the website or whatever. But yeah, man, appreciate the time, and thanks for having me on, and let me tell everybody about arc fishing. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's absolutely wonderful stuff. The tippet, amazing. I love it. It's the only tippet I use. The line, as you know, I can't find arc for one weight. You're gonna have to fix that.
Not gonna happen. I mean, see, then we're just see. It goes back to see that bring it full circle again. I mean, then we're gonna have to do a one, and then we're gonna have to do a two, and then we're gonna have to. I mean, we already do a three. I mean, no, man, like it's a 3 through 8 weight game for us. And like again, our bread and butter is 4, 5, and 6. It's just it won't happen. You're gonna have to go to somebody
Yeah.
else. And just use some running. I mean, like just find a 40-foot piece of running line and you're set. I mean, you're not casting that rod at all very far. So
Yeah, I'm just using yarn right now.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I'm using for it.
of course.
So we lost Adam.
I think he
That's all
just
right.
I think he just signed off, or his computer. Maybe he forgot to charge his battery.
Probably. He was all excited we were getting off and he went and left. No, but like I said, I have everything, the 4 through 8, arc line guys, you can't beat it. It's great. I think I've ran this 6 weight for 2 seasons. Love it. Gonna get some more and restring it, and the tippet, man, everything you guys make is quality. So I really like having you on the show. I like hitting you up with a random text at 2 o'clock in the morning to see what your fishing group is talking about, you know, that you always answer back to.
Right. Well, we
Uh,
appreciate it. Thanks for the support, and thanks for having me on again. Yeah.
no problem, man.